It's time for our second race today here at Genk, home of champions for the 2018 BNL Rotax Golden Trophy. Senior Max action awaits 10 minutes plus one additional lap. 34 competitors set to go into battle, and your starting order will be as follows. Mark Kimber from the UK on pole position in the 2:28. Alongside him on the front row will be Belgium's Ilian Brunsils. Then it's Philip Vava from Spain and Senna van Valsten on row number 2, with Hannes Morin making it 5 different nationalities in the top 5, representing Sweden in the 2:19. Then we've got Storm Breuer, Mick Knowlton, Sabo Boldesar, Axel Saniala, Jesper Sjöberg, Nick van der Mosselaar, Mark van der Kamp, Jason Lockwood, Brett Ward, who make it a British 7th row, Charlie Anderson, Luna Blum, Roy Curves, Alfie Haralambus, James Johnson, Dylan LaHaye, Scott Versthovens, Jordan Brown-Utley, Nicholas Bertilati, Henri Jung, Iananis Antonidis, Miles Apps, Jordi van der Eyck, Felix Varga, Jaro Dekkers, Job Rabanje, Luke Wooder, Piotr Zwizazinski, Christopher Zaxa and Jusso Pantela, rounding out these 17 rows which comprise 34 senior max competitors. And if anything, I think this is going to be even more action-packed than what we had with the junior first heats just a few moments ago. So with the seniors, it's 10 minutes plus one additional lap for all of the preliminary heats before we go into the second chance heats later on today. The first one will be the juniors at 2 o'clock this afternoon, but the seniors will be in at 20 past 2 local time here in Belgium. Thank you very much for everyone continuing to enjoy our live stream coverage wherever you are in the world. So Mark Kimber and Ilian Brunsils are now bringing the 34 competitors into formation here at Genk. We're about to go green for Senior Max for the very first time today. Everyone now starting to bunch up into position. We're about to get the final part of the rolling start formation underway. Red lights on the starting gantry. 10 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap. They go into the tram lines. The Rotax engines roar into life. The lights go out, and what a flyer from Mark Kimber. But Ilian Brunsils has dropped, had exactly the same thing happen to him as it did with Mike Van Vogt in the very first junior heat, as Brunsils trying to force his way back up, and now is into 5th position, trying to go up the inside of whoever's in 4th at the moment through into turn 5. As they now hit turn 6, everyone's trying to get through very, very cleanly, and we've got a spinner off at 180 degrees the wrong way, but the driver manages to rejoin as it's looked for abreast coming into turn 7. That's never going to happen on a month of Sundays, and considering we are here at Genk on a Sunday, it's nearly 2-3 abreast coming out of turn 9. My goodness, it's absolute scrabbling and pandemonium all the way through the 34 competitors out on track at the moment, but it is Mark Kimber from the UK that has got Philip Vava in 2nd position. And that's Van Valsten. Van Valsten is trying to go up the inside of the Spaniard, going into turn 1. The Spaniard tries to close the door, and here comes Van Valsten from the Netherlands. And now signals to the guys behind. Right, let's go and catch Mark Kimber, shall we? And in there is Hannes Morin as well. Hannes Morin has just signalled the same to Philip Vava from the great country of Spain. We've got more carts going off, and we've got 2 that have parked it on the exit of turn number 2. One on the outside, one on the inside. Oh, we've got one heavily into the barriers at turn 7. Someone went straight off and speared nose end first. So yellow flags being waved at turn 7. Hopefully the driver should be all okay, but that was a hefty hit into the barriers. So yellow flags onto the entry of turn number 7. That was a hard hit indeed. But Mark Kimber still leading. Hannes Morin now goes into 2nd position ahead of Vava, Brunsils, Breuer, Van Valsten, Boldesar, Mick Knowlton up into 8th, Brett Ward up into 9th, and we've got a spinner on the outside of turn 2. Drivers are having to avoid on both sides. Driver regains control, gets on their way there, and that looks to be, that's not Philip Vava, is it? I'm not too sure, but I'll wait to see. I think that is Philip Vava who's been turned around, which means the likes of Knowlton is fighting his way, as is Dylan LaHaye, into the second half of the top 10. There's more bumping and barging, side-by-side action. It's absolute pandemonium Driver looks to have gotten away and has walked away from that accident. So, leading the way, Mark Kimber from the UK. Hannes Morin from Sweden in second position. Then it's Baldessar, Knowlton, LaHaye, Van Valsten, Brown Nutley, Brunsils, Ward, Sherberg, and it is Philip Vava that span. It is Philip Vava that span coming out of turn number 2, 1 lap ago. So the Spaniard's going to have to be on the Matadorial comeback charge. Meanwhile, Mark Kimber is actually being kept honest by Hannes Morin at the moment. The Swede is about 7/10 of a second off the Brit, and that is the battle for the lead as there's more battling up and down the order with Mick Knowlton and Dylan LaHaye pretty much with each other as someone goes for an outside move coming out of turn 9. That would have been very, very brave at its very best indeed. So Kimber, Morin, Baldessar, Knowlton, and the 202 is Jordan Brown Nutley, who's trying to fend off Dylan LaHaye at the moment. Or is that Brunsils? No, that's Dylan LaHaye behind. Van Valsen, Ward, Sherberg and Van der Kamp ran out the top 10. We've got about 6 minutes plus 1 additional lap as the gap is closing fast. Morin took 2/10 of a second out of Mark Kimber that time around, or close to it. So the Swede is closing. Baldessar is also looming large in third position. Morin is really closing up to Mark Kimber in the brakes as they have exited turns 7 and 8. Now through 9, now into 10. Brett Ward in the meantime is also making positions as well, so great work by the Brit. He's now up into 8th position and is battling with the likes of Senna Van Valsten. Dylan LaHaye, and in front will be Mick Knowlton as well, and Jordan Brown Nutley. As Van Valsten is behind LaHaye. Brown Nutley really getting racy there, I think, behind Brett Ward. So that's Brunsils. Brown Nutley all the way now up into 5th position now. So he is battling at the front of the field. Running order at the moment with around 5 minutes to go. I'll keep an eye on the battle at the front as that is really intensifying up at turn 7. So you have got Mark Kimber from the UK, Hannes Morin from Sweden, Sabo Baldessar from Hungary in third position. Then you've got the pair of Knowlton and LaHaye from GKS Lemons representing the Netherlands and Belgium respectively, with a hard charging Jordan Brown Nutley from Strawberry Racing hot on their heels. Right behind them is looks to be Senna Van Valsten from the Netherlands. You've then got the likes of Sjoberg, Ward, Brunsils, Van der Kamp, Harold Lambus, Antonides, Brood, Van der Mosselaar. They're all separated. That's the top 15 separated by 5.2 seconds. And the gap now between Kimber and Morin is now 0.4 of a second. Baldessar is also closing, so it's a nice move there by Dylan LaHaye up the inside of Mick Knowlton, it looks like, to take 4th position. But right behind them, waiting with the ringside seat, is Jordan Brown Nutley. And he goes up the inside of Mick Knowlton into turn 6. Nice move by the Brit, but Knowlton is going to have the opportunity to get past in the slipstream. Doesn't make use of it yet, but could do it in another lap or so. Philip Vava is starting to make a little bit of a resurgence through the field from 31st up into 28th. We've got Axel Samiala, we've got Henri Jung. Also, those are 2 competitors so far that have retired from this first heat. And I'm just keeping an eye on the trio at the front of the field. It was a second between the 3 of them coming around on the last lap. It's going to be less than that now, probably 0.8 of a second, I would gather. Well, 1.044, so my estimation was around 0.2 off. Varga in the 213 has also retired. And that's Felix Varga from Belgium. But Hannes Morin still within 0.4 of a second off of Mark Kimber from the United Kingdom, who continues to lead. There is 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, plus an additional lap, and Jordan Brown Nutley is at the Strawberry Racing filling in a GKS Lemons Power sandwich as he's right on the back bumper of Dylan LaHaye going through into turn 7. Could the Brit strike very, very shortly? We'll find out momentarily, but that's a great dice for what is 4th position on the road. Mick Knowlton there is in the ringside seat where Jordan Brown Nutley was just a short time ago as they come through the right-hander into turn 10. Now into the left-hander at turn 11. Through the final couple of corners they go. Jordan Brown Nutley will get the slipstream on Dylan LaHaye coming round the final couple of corners. Down on the long approach into turn number 1. Brown Nutley was very close to the back bumper of Dylan LaHaye going through towards turn number 2. The Brits really sizing the Belgium up now, going through turn 3. Now into the left-hander at turn 4. LaHaye cuts the door off firmly, but Brown Nutley is just waiting for that opportunity, and he strikes like a coiled cobra, and so does Mick Knowlton. He's gone side by side with his GKS teammate heading down into turn number 7. And Mick Knowlton now takes the place, so in just a handful of corners, Dylan LaHaye drops from 4th to 6th in just a matter of corners. And this is going to give Jordan Brown Nutley a little bit of clean air between himself and Sabo Baldassar. But right behind them, whilst they've been battling those three, Senna van Valsten from the Netherlands has also closed up significantly and could be waiting to strike. Don't count out the likes of Brett Ward and Iljan Brunsils, both 10th and 9th respectively. So they could also put some good lap times in the next 90 seconds plus one additional lap. So that's going to give us around 3 to 4 laps of racing action here as Brown Nutley is sternly defending from Mick Knowlton at the moment. But the battle at the front of the field still is Mark Kimber leading. So the UK leads ahead of Hannes Morin. And then you've got Sabo Baldassar in 3rd position. Jordan Brown Nutley in 4th. Mick Knowlton in 5th. Dylan LaHaye, Senna van Valsten, Iljan Brunsils, Jesper Sjöberg and Brett Ward rounding out the top 10. Split by about 5 seconds from 1st to 10th position at the moment, as we have less than 60 seconds to go plus an additional lap here in this first senior heat, groups A and B. And the gap now is 0.7 between Mark Kimber and Hannes Morin. Hannes is running on the Sodi Kart chassis, which is being fielded for the seniors in the forthcoming 19th running of the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in Brazil in just 3 weeks' time. So this is giving him great, as there's been more overtakes, and Brown Nutley and Mick Knowlton are going at it. Dylan LaHaye is still factoring in this intense battle from 4th to 6th position, and the Belgian gets past his Dutch teammate very, very quickly there. But Van Valsten is just absolutely clinical in how he just went up the inside. Mick Knowlton's gone side by side with him as well. Van Valsten's responded, has got past, and I think Iljan Brunsils has also got past Mick Knowlton as well in the process. So Mick Knowlton in a couple of corners also lost out 2 places himself. So he now drops down from 5th to around 8th position as Kimber crosses the start-finish line. Gap between himself and Hannes Morin now 0.8 of a second. Final lap it is for the first Senior Max preliminary heat, 1 of 3. Gap between himself and Hannes Morin was 0.8 of a second as he comes towards turn 6 for the final time. Some great dueling and dicing a little bit further down the order. Where's Philip Vava? How's he been getting on? Up to 25th now is the Spaniard, having run in the top 5 earlier on in this first preliminary heat. But a few corners await for Mark Kimber from the UK in the 228. Hannes Morin takes a quick glance over the right shoulder to see how far Sabo Baldassar is, and I don't think the Hungarian will have any sort of answer in the next few corners, because round the final double right-hander at Karting Genk comes Mark Kimber from the UK to take Senior Max Heat number 1 ahead of Hannes Morin, Sabo Baldassar, Jordan Brown Nutley, Dylan LaHaye, Senna van Valsten, Iljan Brunsils, Mick Knowlton, Jesper Sjöberg and Brett Ward rounding out the top 10. But what a drive from Mark Kimber from the United Kingdom, taking the first Senior Max Heat. So Mark Kimber wins by 0.781 seconds ahead of Hannes Morin from Sweden. Sabo Baldassar, Jordan Brown Nutley, Dylan LaHaye, Senna van Valsten, Iljan Brunsils, Mick Knowlton, Jesper Sjöberg and Brett Ward round out the top 10. Nice work by Alfie Haralambus to end up 11th at the end of that particular race ahead of Storm Brewer, Mark van der Kamp, James Johnson, Ioannis Antonidis and Luke Wooder rounding out the top 16. Charlie Andersson from Sweden finished in 17th ahead of Nick van der Mosselaar and Nicolas Birtilahti. Jaro Dekkers rounded out the top 20. Miles Apps in 21st. Jason Lockwood in 22nd. Luna Blom 23rd. Philip Vava at the flag recovered to 24th position ahead of Scott Versthovens, Jordi van der Eyck, Roy Curves, Job Rapagne, Piotr Zwiezajinski, Jusso Pantila. Christopher Saxe from Denmark was the last of the 31 classified finishers here in the first Senior Max Heat. with Axel Samiala from Finland, Felix Varga from Belgium, and Henri Jung from Germany not completing the race distance here in the first Senior Max heat of the 2018 BNL Rotax Golden Trophy.